Hello, monsters. It's the Liching Hour, and I am your guest host, the Lich. I just got done filming a whole new season of In Dungeon News, which will debut next week during Gen Cant. I believe Kevin plans on debuting it during Friday night's Pathfinder Adventure Card Game premiere. But who knows what Kevin's real plans are. I am the Lich, the namesake of the Liching Hour. Kevin is allowing me to play one game of Apocrypha for him. I've been watching him play quite a bit, so I feel pretty good about it. You know what I like about these guys? The Saints, as they're called. They're not your typical heroes. Heroes to me are people who invade my dungeon, kill my people, and try to take my treasure. They don't get very far. These are incidental heroes. They're not out looking for treasure. They're damaged people looking to do whatever they can to stop the end of the world. I can appreciate that. Tonight's mission is called the Law of Gravity. Frank and Gabriella have gotten back to their, what they believe is a safe space. To find that safe space, broken into and ransacked. It seems that the demon that that betrayed them also knew where they thought they were hidden and is looking for the contracts that Gabrielle and Frank have on them. They weren't counting on Gabrielle having the contracts on them. Crystal, the demon. So, no longer having a home, Gabrielle and Frank they need to rest. As far as my understanding is, the last episode, they were really strung out, and they needed rest. They checked themselves into the seediest hotel they can on the outskirts of Las Vegas and get some well-needed sleep. And when they get up, it's murder time. They're going to hunt down Crystal, any means necessary. Now, if you remember, though, Sam and Dr. Zeus are on their way to join them. But Frank and Gabrielle can't wait around. They're going to find out where Crystal is before they get here. So tonight's mission is Law of Gravity. And it revolves around Frank and Gabriella searching Las Vegas for where they can find Crystal, the demon they've been using as an informant who has betrayed them and who has to be taken out. We're going to start at the Star Walk of Las Vegas. Think downtown Las Vegas. And that's it. As Kevin would say, we shall go. Structurally, this is a little odd, the mission. As we defeat minions, there isn't a master. As we defeat minions, those will be our clues to where we can find Crystal. We put them on the bottom of the locations, and once every location has one of these minions at the bottom of it recharged, then we have won. Yep, that's my understanding. Hope I do you proud, Kev. You do not want to piss off anyone from HR of the dungeon. Have I told you about HR in the dungeon? I learned a long time ago the best people to trust when it comes to human resources, human and monster resources, are vampires. So vampires run human resources in my dungeon. You can do the math there. Alright. Heroic logic. Hello, my friend. I've seen you pop up quite a bit on the stream. Kevin's letting me fill in tonight on Apocrypha. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to be rooting for the monsters a little bit more. Even though these saints are a little bit monsters themselves. I gotta stay true to brand. Okay. Frank and Gabrielle, with a mere 6 hours sleep, ready to get going, have hit the streets of Las Vegas, searching for any clues as where to find Crystal. It's Gabrielle's up first. Let's see what Gabrielle's doing. Oh. Flying Rats, Blunderbuss, Dream Snare, Bruiser, and an Omen of Doom. And she's drawing an Omen of Hope. Next is Starwalk. Win by 2 or less versus a non-true threat. Shuffle it into this nexus. Ooh. So I don't want shuffling things. I don't think. I don't know if this mission is tricky or just tricky. It looks tricky. Omen of Doom. Recycle 1 random card, then flip your nexus to Doom. Yeah. I just finished filming season 2 of In Dungeon News. It'll debut next Friday. By the by. Heroic. Recycling the Bruiser. We won't get any help today. Alright. Golden Cross. Alright, let's see if she gets it. Soul plus her rage is 3, so she needs a 13 in soul. That ain't gonna happen. That's a great item, though. So maybe she shouldn't get it. I wonder how mad Kevin would be if I killed off his saints. I think he'd be pretty mad. So her soul is if I win by 2 or less. Alright, that's okay. Oh, I gotta win. Okay. Win by 2 or less versus a non-true threat. So that means I'd have to win versus this. I'd have to get over 15 to even keep this. I'm gonna. What's that die do there? I'll roll 2. Failed. It goes away. Oh, that was a non-true threat, though. Sorry, she's not gonna get that. It means nothing. It meant nothing. We're gonna draw back up. 5. Pass the turn to Frank. Maybe he's got a better opening scene. Frank's got this Shutterbug, Grifter, Halligan Bar. Ooh, double fisting. And he drew an Omen of Doom. Adolescence. Cannot play tool gifts. To get a tool? So he can't play his Halligan Bars. He's not going to play it anyway. Let's see if he gets it. 3 green. And tool and hack, he has neither. 6. He does. Okay. So Gabrielle and Frank are taking opposite sides of the road. One of the main walks in Vegas. They're splitting up, looking around, staying in the same location, just looking around. Frank. Let's see, what do you do to close this? You gotta seal, you gotta charm. 15. Okay, you gotta make a charm check. Alright. He's gonna take this. Frank sees, while he's walking around, Frank notices, because he's a cop, he notices a lot of children running up and down in and out, weaving in and out of people. Children that don't have adults. Children that are most likely picking people's pockets. So he knows right away that at some point, if he grabs one of these kids, he can use them as informants. And he plans on doing that. The picks are going to represent his means of closing this location at some point by using the kids who are going to know everything that's going on. Little monsters. Okay. Wait. He's going to have to discard something or recharge something. He's going to recharge the picks to kind of keep that thought for later. The kids aren't demons. I say they're little monsters, but they're not demons. Alright. We'll pass it over to Gabriella. I'm going to do waste. A lich never tells, man. A lich never tells. And it's a 20-sided die. Alright, discard one card, huh? Scheiße. Scheiße. Big boy. So, this is going to be mid-afternoon because, well, no, it was really late when they got home last night. So they slept. So it's getting into early evening. And as Gabriella's walking by in the alley, she gets a familiar chill up her spine. And she hears a crunch. And she swears she hears a crunch or something like that. And she stops and she listens. And faintly she hears the sounds of eating. And she turns and walks down in between a couple of buildings. My ignorance of Vegas, because when I go, I stick to the casinos. I'm assuming there are alleys. But she sees something feeding, and it looks up when it feels its eyes on her, or her eyes on it. It's a Doom Nexus 2, so increase the target by 2. So she can either do Rage at 16 or Body at 13. And she's got to win by 2 or more. It gets shuffled in. This is fantastic. Well, oh. Do I want to use the Flying Rats at this point? It seems like an overkill right away. Or do we just go for... Okay, what can he help? He can help the body. Alright, we're going to mutate this stupid werewolf. Kevin hates the werewolves. I hate the werewolves. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my god. Hellbound. This is the worst one. The worst one. Okay. I don't have any contracted cards, so I'm rolling 1. For each of their virtues that is greater than the lowest number rolled. Okay. 5 means that she's not discarding anything. She did really good. So that's awesome. He's helping out with the body check. And if we're going to do body check, that's 3. Skinwalker sense. She doesn't have any. Oh, wait, hold on. No, he used his sense. Okay. Alright, she's got 3. She needs 13, 14, 15 to get rid of this thing. It all happens so fast. The werewolf looks up, feeding on the body. It's a really screwed up world where Gabrielle can go down an alley and find a werewolf feeding on a body, feeding on somebody. That's how close to the apocalypse we are. It looks up and it's within seconds it's moving on her. And the first thing she can do, she knows she doesn't have time to draw her blunderbuss, is she just speaks the little word of power in her head, and her flying rats come bursting out of the dimension they're waiting in. And we're gonna actually use their power. Man, if I draw 4, blah 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 blah. You know what? No, we're just gonna discard the boost body, but we're still gonna have them come flying out. Or no, we'll do 2. We'll do 2. 2 flying rats are gonna come out. We drawing 2 omens of 2 omens. We're gonna add 2 body dice. She's gonna be able to reroll 3. I have various other things I can do. Okay, this is what we're looking at. We're looking at a 14, which beats him, but if I don't get a couple more points, or a couple more, he's going to get shuffled back in. Or it's going to be shuffled back in. She can explode 1s and 2s. Oh, no. I guess. So, she speaks this word of power, the word of calling. Or she doesn't so much speak it as she just allows it to happen in her head, and these 2 of these flying rats come bursting out beside her, and as it's coming at it, it skids up. The werewolf coming at her skids up, and these rats come at it and hit it in its face, and it goes like, and it turns and it runs off down the alley, going back into the deck. I'm not going to be able to do more. And hopefully, unlike Kevin, I don't shuffle things back on top of the deck. Okay, so that was I have to bury it. Okay. Right off the bat with a werewolf. That's some BS there. Werewolves live on level 3 of the dungeon, by the way, in the kennels. My werewolves are much nicer, though. Alright, she's going to draw 5. Passing it. We're already 2 in the hole. I wonder if Kevin will be mad if I fail this adventure, or this mission. We can't get out of doom here. Trash the highest mind die. We need to... Okay. Let's do it, Frank. What are we going to do? I guess I could have re-rolled those dice, by the way. That was my bad. Neophyte. Frank. Well, Frank's body dice are 3. Do we mutate? Let's mutate. Don't get up. A 1 means I gotta do this mutation again. Roll a 3. For each of their virtues that is greater than the lowest number rolls, suffer 1 rage damage. He's suffering 1 rage damage. Luckily, just 1 rage damage. Ditching his shutterbug. Okay. So he's going to be able to reroll 3 of these. He's got 3 body dice. He's going to discard the boost body And he's going to recycle the other Halligan bar to add 1 body die. And then he has sense, so he gets another white die. So this ain't so bad. 15. That's 11 plus 2 is 13, plus 2 is 15. Win by 2 or less. Alright, I need to get 1 more. I'm going to re-roll these 3. And hopefully get a 6. No. Oh wait. Gabriella is going to recycle a card matching her skilled hack to add 1 to this right here to make this a 16, which means this werewolf is gone. So Frank just happens to be walking. Okay, so Gabriella and him had split up. Gabriella's kind of gone into an alley. Frank is trying to track down one of these kids to grab them, to interrogate them, see if they've seen anything, or at least not so much interrogate them, but maybe recruit them. And he happens to be walking. As the werewolf goes running, it comes running on this other side, and Frank just happens to be walking by. He turns and sees this werewolf running at him. Now this is Frank's game, though. Frank is he's a skinwalker hunter, and so he doesn't go running. He squares off and goes running running away. He goes running right at the werewolf. And win versus a threat, discard. I gotta remember this. One of Frank's powers. Discard 1 card. Examine the top card of the clock. If it's an omen, draw it. Do I want to discard? Yes. I'm going to discard a card. Examine this. It's an omen. Draw it. Alright. As it gets close, here's his cards. As the werewolf gets close, he's got 2 these well, for sake of for the fiction, he's pulling out these 2 bars. He's got them, and just as it's coming, the werewolf's a little more disoriented. It's not expecting what's about to happen, and Frank's, before it knows what's going on, it's tripped and its head's bashed in as it's falling, and then Frank's on top of it, Frank's on top and it bashing the back of its head in. Somebody walks by and sees this and goes running off all scared. Sees this guy beating what looks like a huge bear, like a very large dog, bashing its head in. When he's done, he gets up, and Gabrielle comes running around the corner, and she's like, whew. He's like, it's getting worse. Yes, it is. Okay, so we're recycling one of these. He's discarding the other one. He has a omen in his hand, and this werewolf's gone. And he draws back up to 4. Okay. Gabriella. Man, all these omens of doom. Is there any hope left in the world? Alright. Okay. Mr. Bear. And an evaluate versus a gift trash highest die. Alright. She's going to roll 3 and 1 resist. 3 body and 1 resist. 10. So as she walks up to him, she notices something hanging out of a dumpster nearby, and as she walks by, she gets a feeling that it's a little bit more than what it is. She picks it up to take it with her. A totem, if you will. We need to find out where. Frank explains that he thinks there's a gang of kids working the streets down here, and that they might be helpful. So they both set out of this alley quickly to look for kids. The Lich's luck is similar to Kevin's so far. Is she gonna, you know what, I'm tired of, well, it's gonna flip back over. All he's got is Omens of Doom. So she's gonna 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She's gonna call it. And holy mackerel, all the doom. How's it going, McTeddy? So they come walking out, and there's a kid standing there right as they come walking out. But this kid, as they stop, and Frank goes to say something, and the kid is just kind of staring at him oddly, and then starts going like this, and then growing a bit. It seems to grow inside its clothes, but it doesn't seem to get any bigger. And Frank quick glance at Gabrielle, and they steel themselves because they know they're facing another demon. This one's definitely, then Frank gets the smell of a demon. And so I looked up what a Shadem is, and Shadem's a certain type of demon. It has a rooster feet and claws? Rooster clawed feet. It's a Jewish demon. Or at least it's, yeah. It says before it goes to attack. Who says this is Frank's turn. It says you need to hunt on a different side of town. It says, or leave completely. You're wanted, and I'm gonna get the reward. It says. All right, so it's got a win thing, but it doesn't have anything else. 13 rage. Picked the wrong dude, bro. The wrong dude. All right, Frank. Is there anything special about fighting these guys from the mission? No. Okay. So this kid ripples inside, does a strange thing, and then tells them that they need to hunt somewhere else. They should have hunted somewhere else. They should have hunted somewhere else, because now he's going to collect them for his own. And a side note, Frank notices these chicken feet sticking out of its shoes where its shoes should be. But Frank draws on it. Evaluate using rage or cycle, add +1. If versus a damned or deathless threat, you may discard this gift, add +2 instead. Scheisse. Maybe we'll keep that like that. He's getting 4. Do we? Well, let's do it. No. We're not going to mutate. Who knows what the hell we'll get. He's got, because he gets strike. He gets 2 bonus dice for strike. And then this pearl-handled revolver is going to add +2. So we're not going to mutate. Maybe we should. No. 10, 13. And then, oh, it doesn't matter. This is a non-true threat. 13 is all we needed. And it goes to move on him, like it's going to move on him. But Frank's already kind of got the adrenaline rush from beating down the werewolf, and he ends up moving faster than this thing even realized. Like while it started doing its and starts talking, Frank's on it, and he's pulled it back in the alley, and he shoved it down into the on top of the werewolf, and he's like, "This is what I do to everything that gets in my way. Do you see this?" And the kid demon's mumbling through hair and gore because he's got its face pressed into the werewolf's body, his corpse. This is what happens to everything that gets in my way. Are you going to get in my way? Are you going to continue to get in my way? And he pulls it up just long enough to cough and sputter gore out of its mouth. And it says, "Damn you, Frank Block. We will have you. All of us will have you. We're going to feed for centuries on your soul." Yeah, he shoves it back down in the gore, and he shoves it down deeper inside the werewolf. He brings it back up. It's like, "We're looking for Crystal." The demon seems to stop, and then it looks up at him. He's like, if I tell you, will you leave me? What do you think, Gabrielle? It's just a little demon. Look at him. He's almost cute. It hisses at her. All right. We'll leave you here. You stay here. You must stay here on this street. That's our contract. You stay here on this street. I don't kill you now. And you tell me where I can find Crystal. It seems to consider it for a moment. And then, as more gore kind of comes flying out of its mouth, it's fine. So I do not know, but someone who works for her, another one of us who works for her may. You'll find him at one of the chapels. I don't know all the chapels in Las Vegas. We're going to assume I know one of the chapels in Las Vegas. We're all going to know. Alright, so as part of the mission, we, instead of sacrificing this person, he goes in the bottom of this. And we recycle into its nexus instead. If you don't examine one from the bottom of your nexus, then you may shuffle your nexus. Okay, we're not going to shuffle the nexus. And, yeah. Okay. So, we're heading to... Hey, McTeddy, or Heroic, you ever been to Vegas? I've gotten married in Vegas. Graceland Chapel. That's exactly where this demon is. The demon told him to go to the Graceland Chapel. That's the Elvis-themed wedding place. Oh, and they're all, hold on, back up. They're all nearby. Elvis Chapel, ooh, nice. Graceland wedding in a Elvis Chapel. Alright, so, yeah, the demon says it's at an Elvis Chapel. We've got two to deal with. One that actually says an Elvis Chapel, so we're going to start there. So, where are they? I'm looking at a map of Vegas. How far off the strip are they? Are they on the strip? Alright, they're gonna head there. To the chapel. Gotta get married. Alright, it's Gabrielle's turn. Can we start throwing down some omens of hope, people? What's the deal with the chapel? Value trash dice, soul die. Escape. Flip it to hope. A symbol versus a holy gift. Add one soul die. Lucky numbers. Alright, let's evaluate versus a holy. This is not holy. Oh, this lets you flip one nexus to hope. Huh, interesting. Body, soul. Soul meets body. We'll do body. She needs an 11. She doesn't have conjure. Do I use? I don't care that much about this gift. 6, 9. Nothing. She's gonna play that Omen of Hope. Let me stake one gift. Look at that. As they walk into the chapel, they pick the first Elvis chapel they find. And it just happens it must not be the very popular one because there aren't very many people there. When they walk in, one of the Elvis priests comes over to them and asks them if they'd like to get married. But when it looks at them, it realizes who they are, and this big smile gets on its face, the Elvis face, and then it kind of rips a little bit. His face rips open a bit. Very grotesque smile. Oh. Okay, hold on. I put the wrong card underneath that other one. Where'd that go? Where did I put the other nexus? Where did you go? Oh, there you are. This Elvis, smiles, and the smile almost rips its face a bit as it. You're Gabriella, you're Vargas and Frank. Oh, this is a glorious day. Yeah, it's party time. It's Gabriella's turn to take this one on. And is it? Yeah, it is. All right, so she gets 3 dice. She has strike. The finger post allows her to assemble using rage, discard to add 2 rage dice. And then I don't think she even needs to do that. I think we're doing this. I think this is all she needs. Oh boy, okay. Let's see. So what do we got here? That is 11. She needs 2 more. Well, okay. So she has the Partisan Enduring Fragment where she can flip 1 die, then trash 3 dice. So she can flip this to 4. Trash these 3 dice. That puts it at 12. She needs 1 more. Her power for... She's going to recycle Mr. Bear to add 1 to that to make that 13. So while he's smiling and he hisses out that he knows them, she gets up close and grabs him by the throat and takes this the bear that she had found, the kind of totem that had a little bit of has a little bit of a soul attached to it, and shoves it in its mouth. Its big ripped open mouth, and it sits there going, and then she, before it can even knows what's going on, she's got her blunderbuss tucked up into its stomach. And they move very slowly back into the chapel area where it's like there's only a few other people in there, in the foyer kind of area, and they move back into the chapel part. And Gabrielle says, there are a lot of demons dying in Vegas every day. Every day since we got here, the demons have been dying. You know this, right? And they go, drool, like thick yellow mucus drools kind of start to come out from around the bear that shoved it in his throat. And she says, you can be another one, or you can tell us where we can find Crystal. Crystal? Yes, Crystal. He rent order. She says, what is that? What is that? Did you understand what he meant? I don't know what he's saying. Rent RR. Rent RR. She, for good measure, she bashes it across the head a couple times with her, with the blunderbuss. And she pulls the bear out. And she says, move and I will fucking kill you. What did you say? He says, I saw her in the French Quarter. I didn't know Las Vegas had a French Quarter. I don't know if it does. But I got a location here of the Vieux Carré, which is, I believe, is the French Quarter in New Orleans. So, if Vegas has a French Quarter, we're going there. Really? You saw her there? Yes. Yes. Now, you told me this without no contract. So, I could just kill you now. Demon looks like it, like, seriously fucked up. But she throws it down and says, you're gonna stay here. Right here. It just looks at her like, okay. We're gonna put that at the bottom of the deck. And we're moving. I think I'm playing this mission right. It's like, if each Nexus has an archetype card on the bottom of its deck, win the mission. And then when you contract or sacrifice an archetype, recycle it into its Nexus instead. So, okay, at the end of a turn, you may go to mission end. So, we are leaving the chapel and heading to the French Quarter of Vegas. And Gabriella is drawing back up to 5. And it's Frank's turn. They grab a taxi and take themselves to the French Quarter of... Maybe this is supposed to be the inside of a casino. Yeah, it's French. It's the French Quarter. Oh, hold on. All he's got is Omens of Doom, man. Lose versus gift, bury one gift. Okay. Alright. Curiosity, can't avoid. Okay. Alright. It's playing easy on me this time. The moment they get there, so they pull up into, they get into a cab, okay, outside of the chapel. And they tell the taxi driver to go to the French Quarter. And the taxi driver looks back at them, and looks at them, doesn't say much, and then turns back after a few minutes, and then drives on. It takes a while, and Gabrielle's like, I didn't know Vegas had a French Quarter. And Frank's like, I don't know, maybe it's in a casino or something. And they, after some twists and turns, suddenly Gabrielle's stomach starts going a little bit, like, wait a minute, something's not right here. They find themselves, they look and they're driving through some really bad suburbs of Vegas, and she leans forward and tells the taxi driver, she's like, is the French Quarter outside of Vegas proper? And he just kind of maybe nods, but kind of ignores her. And suddenly the taxi driver feels her blunderbuss poked up against its head, his head. And he pulls over and stops. And she says, where are you taking us? He says, the French Quarter, ma'am. And she says, well, where is it? And then he turns, and his head just turns. Frank realizes that as it's turning, its body's not turning; it just kind of turns around, and it says, "Wherever you want it to be." You guys, and all of a sudden the doors of the cab shut, or they lock shut. They can hear it all shut up. You're gonna come with me. I'm gonna take you to someone who wants to see you. We're not going anywhere with you. Nowhere. Is this is Frank's turn? Yes, it is. Frank. 2 through 4. Oh yeah, 2 strike. Simply using rage. Recycle 1 card, add 1 rage die. That's his secret superpower. And boom. Uh, 13. These demons are not the smartest ones. Maybe that's why they're out driving taxis and wandering through the streets and acting as urchin kids. They're like the lower level demons. They're not very smart. And Gabrielle and Frank are frankly very tired of being and dealing with demons and being in Vegas. So after a few minutes of Frank pistol whipping the cabbie driver in the front seat from the back seat in the face, it finally groans and begs for mercy. And he says, we want you to take us to someone who wants to see us. We want you to take us to Crystal. And he gasps a little bit, but then squeals, and then Frank says, and if you don't, you die now. If you do, we'll let you live. But you'll need to stay as a taxi driver. Oh, no. You'll have to stop driving taxis. It kind of waits for a minute before, like, it's all beat up, barely can speak, and then he hears a yes. And that's when Gabrielle's phone lights up. And she looks down and she says, Zeus and Sam are here. They're in town. They're at the train station. Frank goes, take us to the train station and let's go of the thing. And the demon, like, starts up and starts driving them to the train station where they're going to pick up Sam and Zeus. And then this thing will take them to go see Crystal. And that'll be the next mission. So this one went pretty quick just because of the luck of the draw. That was pretty lucky drawing at the beginning of the deck like that. So that would have went on her. Oh. Let me replay this scene real quick. They're bashing its head in, and Frank's going to town, and Gabrielle means to stop him. I mean, this thing had turned its head around, and it's telling Gabrielle that it's going to take him to where it wants, but then suddenly it's getting bashed in the face, and then Frank's over in the front seat, and he's bashing him with his pearl-handled revolver, and Gabrielle's like, wait, she pulls it off, and it's like gurgling there in blood, and Frank's like, I want you to take me to see someone, I want you to take us to see Crystal, and the demon's like, oh, no, and Frank's like, I'm gonna kill you, and you're gonna take me to see Crystal, and then there's a good chance I'm gonna kill you after that. And he's a cop. Frank's a cop. He sees things other people don't. And the demon's eyes flicker to the glove box so quickly, and so like slightly. And he noticed, but anybody else probably wouldn't have noticed. So after he gets it to agree to take them to go get Dr. Cease and Sam, but then take them to see Crystal, he goes, so what's in the glove box? And he reaches over, he grabs it, opens it up, and one of those canisters that holds that they have that holds the contracts they've been looking for rolls out. He's like, well, what is this? He picks it up and passes it to Gabrielle, and she opens it up. And sure enough, it's another one of the contracts. Old-ass contract. They can tell by how old it is and the way it's written out. And at the bottom, she can't make out the name, but it starts with an M. And for some reason, and Gabrielle cannot place it, but for some reason, her stomach falls a little bit. Like she gets some kind of weird feeling. She hasn't read the name. She doesn't know what the name is, but something like deja vu or reja vu. This enduring fragment, Morgan's contract. Tell me my name. The demon fills the hallway, maggots spilling out of its sharp, fanged beak as it speaks. It's a dare, a plea, a bargain to be made. Tell me my name, and maybe you can pass. Maybe you'll release it. Maybe you'll bind it. You're only sure that there's one right answer, and its knife is very bloody. Tell me my name. While contracts start with when any number of novum are displayed, you may draw one card or examine. When does that ever happen? But Gabrielle is compelled to take it by destiny, fate, whatever you want to call it. You'll see what I mean one day. She's gonna ditch something. She's gonna ditch this one. Okay. And then we draw two fleeting fragments. The last offering, Manuel brought you spiced coffee and warm serapes, woven with labyrinthine art, joking and smiling. You tightened your grip and he shivered, bringing silver pesos and turquoise necklaces. Your coils crushed the breath from his lungs miles away. He brings you his last offering on his knees, wise at last. Oh. Ooh, yeah, we're gonna do this one. Her hands were the finest of any surgeon in practice today. Your condition, so rare, so intricate, the task fell to her alone. Yet you seemed to be the only one to notice the tremors, the twitches. From fear or excitement? Yes, she intoned, her cadence offering no clues as the anesthetic took hold in you. Something new. Heal the discard pile. Yes. I like. Okay. Alright, that was Law of Gravity. We have found out where Crystal is. We're heading there. Dr. Z's and Sam are joining the two of them, which will be interesting and fun. We will continue this tomorrow night. The plan is next Saturday will be the conclusion to the Book of the Damned. Next Saturday. Tomorrow, however, will be the next episode in this. And I hope I did Kevin justice by playing. Y'all have an awesome night. Viva la dungeon.